The Yoga Sutra teaches that pranayama thins the veil that clouds our inner light. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, what you'll find the longer you practice pranayama is that the mind becomes clearer, more focused, and the burdens on the mind lessen. That feeling of underlying angst, confusion, doubt, that begins to dissipate. And when that dissipates, it brings great freedom to the mind. The challenge with pranayama practice, particularly vigorous pranayama practice, is learning how to exhale and inhale forcefully in a way that doesn't disturb the nervous system. That'll be the focus today of our class. 2 vigorous pranayama practices you can learn here on Yoga International are Kapalabhati, or the skull shining breath, and Bhastrika, the bellows breath. Kapalabhati involves a forceful exhalation and a passive inhalation, while Bhastrika involves a forceful exhalation and a forceful inhalation. You should remember that vigorous pranayama isn't advised if you're menstruating, pregnant, have high blood pressure, or any medical condition that would be aggravated by extra pressure either in your cardiovascular system or your respiratory system. We also advise that you have some understanding and mastery of diaphragmatic breath training before taking on vigorous pranayama. What that does, it helps you learn how to smooth and steady the breath in the nervous system, so it'll be prepared. Now, back to our forceful exhalation and forceful inhalation question. How do you learn how to do it? The key thing to understand when you're doing these pranayamas is that we're trying to learn how to coordinate motion in the abdominal wall with motion in the diaphragm muscle. The diaphragm is the muscle that causes you to inhale and exhale. Let me give you an example. Right now I'm talking, and when I talk, I'm exhaling. I can exhale at the same time I'm squeezing and releasing my belly, like I'm doing here. So this is an example where the diaphragm is not coordinated with the abdominal wall. In pranayama, vigorous pranayama, we have to get the two to work together. The challenges that you experience in vigorous pranayama at first tend to come from this lack of coordination, where you feel like the body is jumpy when you practice, or you feel some disturbance in the stress response. A lot of that has to do with this lack of coordination. So here's how you do it. You start slow and then learn how to speed things up. To start slowly, what we'll do is slowly squeeze the belly in as we exhale, and then slowly release the belly out as you inhale. As you slowly squeeze the belly in, the diaphragm muscle is ascending and expelling air out. As you slowly release the belly out, the diaphragm descends and pulls breath in. Why don't you try it? What you want to do is sit upright in a comfortable position you would use for pranayama and meditation. Here I'm sitting in sukhasana with the hips higher than the knees, or you could sit in a chair upright. Once you're seated, take your hands on your low belly. Close your eyes, begin to feel your breathing, and on your next exhalation, slowly squeeze your abdominal wall in. It'll help you expel the air out. Then smoothly inhale and release the abdominal wall out. Exhale, belly squeezes. Inhale, and belly releases. Now there's 2 common problems you run into here. One is that the abdominal wall can be tight, and we tend to move the abdominal wall too fast on the exhale. You have to learn how to move it slower, so you get a full range of motion in that muscle wall. Similarly, on the release of the abdominal wall, there's a tendency for that wall to just kind of flop out without any mindfulness or control on your part. So we're going to slowly squeeze it on the exhale, and just as mindfully and just as much control, slowly release it on the inhale. This is the level of control you need to then speed the process up as we move into vigorous pranayamas. Do 2 more of these. Exhale, squeeze the belly in, and inhale, release the belly out. Now, take a few resting breaths. You can rest your hands on your thighs, close your eyes, and just feel a normal flow of breath. Feel the breath moving in and the breath moving out. Now, try 5 more of these just to get the hang of it. Close your eyes. If it helps, put your hand on your lower belly. 5 repetitions where we slowly exhale, contract the belly in, and then slowly release that belly on the inhale. The second round, focus in on smoothing out the transitions between inhale and exhale, so there's not a large pause in between. Exhale, belly draws in. Smoothly start to release the belly on the inhale as the belly releases out. Again, work up to 5 repetitions. This is a wonderful practice to use every time you practice pranayama as a way to warm up for it. After your last repetition, go ahead and release, hands rest, close your eyes, and feel the sensations in the body, feel the sensations in the mind, and the sensations of your breath. Now, go ahead and open your eyes. And our next step is learning how to go from the slow pace to a faster pace. So it may take a few weeks of going at the slow pace to really get that to establish. Then you're ready to speed it up. For Kapalabhati breathing, we're working on a forceful exhalation followed by a passive inhalation, so that speed of the abdominal wall increases, causing the breath to move out at a faster pace. Here's what it looks like at a slower pace Kapalabhati. So I exhale quickly, and then I have to remind the abdominal wall to release and remember to take a breath in. That can be the challenge at first with Kapalabhati. You have to remember to take that breath in. So slower pace, if you'd like, you can give it a try at home. You always want to end your round of Kapalabhati on a slower exhalation. That helps keep the nervous system calm. A good place to start is anywhere between 5 and 11 repetitions, and then you follow that with some seated, restful, diaphragmatic breathing. Once you feel comfortable at the slower pace, you can speed it up again, and a more typical pace for Kapalabhati would be something like this. With practice, you start slow, work up to a middle pace, and then work up to a faster pace. You'll find you can maintain that control and awareness in the abdominal wall and the coordination with the diaphragm. Similarly, for Bhastrika, same idea. We start with the slow preparation work we did, and then see if we can move to a middle pace. This time we'll be working with a forceful exhale and a forceful inhale. A slower pace would be something like this. Again, end on a slower exhalation, keeps the nervous system calm. And remember, any pranayama practice, the nervous system should feel calm before, during, and after. If you're feeling agitated before, during, and after, it's not going to give you the best effects of the practice. Better to do some restful breathing first, and then go back to the forceful inhales and exhales. Once you have some sense of that medium pace for Bhastrika, so you might take a few weeks to work with that, then you can try speeding up to a more traditional pace. So you're gradually working up to a quicker pace. Again, noticing there's no heaving in the chest, there's no catching in the throat. It's learning how to have that smooth flow in the belly, smooth transitions between inhales and exhales as you speed up the pace. If you take this step by step, one speed at a time, you'll find you can gain access and comfort with these practices gain all of its benefits while keeping the nervous system in great shape. Namaste.